Hey ladies, happy Wednesday. It's been kind of crazy today. It's just been so busy. I just can't believe how it's already Wednesday nights. Sneaking up on me. And I'm always one, don't get me wrong, to say that I'm not a busy person. It's just like there's a lot of things. Maybe there's things I should have said no to. I kind of need to reassess this week. Sorry, Zoe squeaking your ball. I am going to wait just a minute while people start jumping on. If you guys haven't been here before, specifically for these Wednesday trainings, every Wednesday, minus last week, I try to do a free live training for you guys on a topic of typically your choice, unless there's something that I want or need to talk about that week, just to help support you with your goals and your mindset and working, through whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, trying to work toward. Maybe you're just having a not so great day, like whatever it is. These are just here to support you and just give you some things to take away to build into your life. I know sometimes it's like we just need to hear the same things over and over before it sticks. Sometimes it's like, oh, I never thought of it that way. So it can help you, just kind of reframe something in a different mindset, which is today what we're going to talk about a little bit. Zoe, come here. Here. She really likes her squeaky ball. But yeah, so okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If you are on, please say hi. Let me know that you are here. And of course, if you are watching the replay later, no worries. Let me know that you're watching the replay, and then feel free to ask any questions, either comment or follow up with me later. Any questions you might have, anything you might want to add to the video, thoughts, stuff like that, so that I can follow up with you later, because that's the point, is I want to be able to support you. You're like going crazy. I'm sorry. I want to be able to support you specifically and not just like talk to a computer, but actually be able to help you through your mindset problems, what you're working on in your business. Oh, please. Girls, come here. Sorry. So that it makes a difference, so that you are able to move forward and you're not just stuck and not knowing where to go next. So today I want to talk a little bit about the topic of the day. I asked in the group earlier what you guys wanted to hear, specifically around like 3 different topics, and the winner by far was mindset. So I want to talk about mindset today. And first of all, if you guys are here and have specific mindset questions, please feel free to pop them in the comment section below. Hey, Kristen, thanks for hopping on. And also letting me know that you wanted to hear about mindset today. So if you have any specific issues or things that are coming up around your mindset, please feel free to share. I definitely want to get to the specifics of what you are going through so that I can touch on those for sure. But I did just have some things that, because mindset is such a big one anyway, that comes up for me all of the time. Because it's a continuous process. It's a practice. It's not just something that you do once, unfortunately, and then it's done. It's something that you have to not only figure out, a way to do it, but something that actually works for you, figuring out that practice that is going to be most beneficial to you personally and individually, instead of just, there's so many like art. I just want to this is something that came up when I was thinking about it, is there's so many articles, there's so many books, there's so many different things that talk about how, the key tips, mindset tips, the key actions, whatever it is to success, right? And they give you like the top 5, the top 7 tips to be successful. And there's so many different topics that addresses, like in various articles. I hope that makes sense. There's the things you should do for your morning routine. There's the top tips for your mindset. There's the top tips just in general for success, about goals. And I just want to really stress how that can be helpful, girls, how that can be helpful so that you can have some new ideas, like things that you haven't tried before, to be able to try and implement and see if it works for you. But I want you to first of all realize that article, that book, whatever you're looking at reading, maybe it's something on Pinterest that's telling you you need these 5 to 7 tips in order to be successful. That is not the case. It's just a catchy title because it gets you to listen to it. But I want you guys to take that with grace and give yourself permission to this is not these 5 tips are not the only things that you need in order for you to be successful, specifically today with your mindset. Because I see those all the time. And that was something that I really worked through a lot this year, where I was like, okay, like I just need these things to be successful in my morning routine, or this in my mindset. And it's like, it just doesn't work for everyone. And the majority of the time, it doesn't work for a lot of people, for those specific key things. You might have a mixture of those, you might have other things, but the point is to find something that truly works for you. So when I talk about mindset practice, there's so many different things that you could do to practice your mindset. I do mine on a daily basis, at least I try, because when I fail at that, when I like miss it for a day, I definitely feel it. And I've heard other people kind of talk about this, how like if they miss a day in their morning routine, they just feel it. Like it just kind of throws them off for the day. And that's totally how I am with my mindset practices and routines and things like that. So it's something that I personally practice on a daily basis, especially lately, because I have been kind of so up and down with mine. I have like great, like I'm kicking ass, like I'm going for it. And like other times where I'm just like questioning myself and feel like nothing's working and I'm frustrated. So it's something to just kind of keep you more level. And I have really been intentional about doing this on a daily basis, specifically in the mornings, so that I can start off on a good foot with my day. And it just kind of leads into, the rest of the day where I take that approach to things. For you, if you haven't done like a specific mindset practice or a routine of any kind, I would encourage you guys to doing something daily is hard because you do have to create the habit for it. So if this is totally new to you, I would set aside, like if I were to make a recommendation for you, set aside like one day a week where you're going to focus on your mindset, a specific time. That way you can get it on your calendar. If it's a couple times a week, even better. It's only going to be more beneficial to you. But like I said, you can try it on a daily basis, especially if you feel like that's something you need. But it is hard to get into the habit because you haven't created the habit yet. So you can like fall off. And the thing about falling off when you are starting a new practice, a new habit, a new routine, whatever that is, a lot of times when we fall off, like our New Year's resolutions, for example, it's really hard to kind of pick back up because it's like, well, like I've already eaten the cupcake. Like, why do I have to keep working on this diet? Right. Or, like I fell off today, or like I slept in too long today. Like, why would I even do it? Why would I even bother? That's where we can really get hard on ourselves. And that's why it is hard to just start off trying to pick this up right away on a daily basis, because we are going to fall off the wagon. So I want you to give yourself permission that it is okay to fall off the wagon, because it's something that you are just trying to establish as a habit. So please give yourself grace in this, first of all, and know that it's okay to miss a couple days, not intentionally, but of course it does happen. Life happens. So I want to talk about some of the practices specifically to get into, because if mindset is something that's new to you, if you haven't really done practices around it, if you know you need it, if you've tried some things and they're not working great, but you want to try some others, this is what I want to dive into. So if you are on here, if you are watching the replay later, please feel free to comment some of the things that you guys do for your mindset currently. What are some of your mindset practices? Some of mine specifically while you're doing that, or of course, if you're watching the replay, please feel free to put those in there as well. And I will circle back around. It's just to kind of it's good to just get a list going of different things that you can pick and choose from. Because like I said, you do have to, girls, oh my God, they're so crazy. You do have to figure out what works best for you. It's not just, okay, I'm going to do this and that's it, because it may not work the best for you. It may not, the point is for it to really help your state of mind in a way that you're not approaching things in a pessimistic way. You're not, the way that you talk about things, the way that you think, you have like that little voice in your head, like when you're thinking about, say, money, for example. I'm not going to get too much into specific money mindset today, because that's a whole different topic. But just catching yourself with some of those conversations in your head when you're thinking about things. Maybe it's like, if you're a business owner, maybe it's getting a new client, or maybe it's someone who turned you down because your prices are too high, Or, in your personal life, maybe it's a friend who canceled on you last minute, who always cancels on you, or with family. There's lots of stuff that can come up with family. Anything that's going to basically trigger that conversation in your head to be negative. And that's what you're trying to avoid, because when that happens, we all know that it's just kind of like a spiral down from there. Like once one thing happens, it's kind of a domino effect to trigger another thing, and then you keep thinking like negatively or like questioning yourself about it. So instead of continuing to fall down that trap, especially if you are a business owner, or you're going after some really big goals, like I know a lot of you guys are, this is really, really easy to do, because one thing can go wrong and it's like, oh, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I should lower my goal. Maybe I should just stop what I'm doing. Like it can, depending on what it is, it can really spiral down. And believe me, I've definitely been there. And even in my best days, one day, like I can have a totally low moment, like within that same day, or the next day, or things like that, that just by little triggers, if I don't default to go to practice my mindset practice, you can really just continue spiraling down because of that voice in your head, and you're not really thinking logically or just clearly or figuring all sides out to it, because it's very like perceptive with that, and you're only going to be thinking about like those negative things. So your mindset practices really need to be able to kind of quiet everything around you, quiet your mind specifically, and be able to kind of get you back to that neutral state, if this makes sense. So instead of like, the goal is to be positive and happy and stuff like that all the time, which is never the case, but like you want that sometimes, but you also don't want to go down into like that negative route. So you want to just be able to have this mindset practice to bring you back to that neutral state where you can see all perspectives. You can be very open and available for anything that comes your way, so that you don't just take it negatively or only take it positively, especially if you're having a great day. That can be good, but it's still not in that neutral zone. Like you have to have a clear mind in order to be able to do things really effectively, right? So that's what I want you guys to think about when you are starting to try some of these new practices. And when I mean like something that works for you, it's something that can get you back into that neutral state, whether, especially during those times when you have had something trigger you and you are in that negative mindset. Your practice should kind of bring you back to that neutral state, so you can almost start that day over, right? So I go into that because I want you guys to know what that means. Like, what does it mean when it actually does work for you? What does it mean when it doesn't work for you? If it doesn't work for you, it's just not going to bring you back to that neutral state. It might work for a few minutes. It might make it worse, which are things that you definitely want to avoid and know that they don't work. So I hope that makes sense for like just kind of gauging which practices are going to work for you, which ones aren't, and which ones to like continue doing, like developing into a practice. There are so many different things that you can do, which is one of the hardest things about it, but also one of the exciting parts, because I want you guys to really give yourself grace and the permission, again, to try things out. Like you don't have to, one thing, so I'll share this because this is totally relevant. When I left my day job and I had like the 2 weeks that we were gone in Europe, so I didn't worry about basically any type of new routine until after we got back. So once we got back, it was like beginning of January. It was perfect time to kind of restart a whole new morning routine, kind of get into the groove of things, how I was going to work, how I was going to take the dogs to the walk, like just what my day was going to look like. The problem was I wanted to nail that morning routine. I really wanted to get that down like the first week back so that I could start creating it into a habit and then be good to go and like, hit the ground running, right? And I didn't really, like in my head, I didn't really give myself permission to try a whole bunch of new things and let that be okay. Like I just really wanted to like have it down. Like I wanted to have my practice down so that I could do it, create the habit out of it, and do what I needed to do. And the more that I did that and the more I thought about it that way, it was harder and harder when things didn't work because I wanted them to work, especially after reading those articles. Like I needed to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and work out right away and eat oatmeal. Like I wrote this whole article about this and I was like, that's so just not me. and it didn't work for me at all. And I had to let that be okay, that those practices that work for someone else, it was okay not to work for me, because I was going to find something else that did. So I want you guys to, first of all, know that not everything is going to work, and that's okay. And give yourself grace and permission to go into something else and explore and try something else out and see what works and what you like and what you don't. And it doesn't have to be such a recipe for it. It's not going to turn out as like, this is what I thought of. Like, it's not going to just be the same chocolate chip cookie recipe that you are going to do, which, you know, your grandma did too, or whatever that looks like. Like, it's going to be your own practices that you set for yourself that's going to be most effective for you. So with all of that, now that you have the knowledge kind of how to set this up, what it looks like, I want to talk about the fun stuff. Like, what are the actual practices that you could do? So for mindset specifically, if I could talk, some of the things that I currently do are, so when I wake up in the morning, some of it has to do with my morning routine, because that's when I have set to do my mindset work every single day. Of course, so I try to keep this going even if I have something early in the morning. Like if I have a meeting, if I have a shoot, if I have something happening in the morning, I do try to wake up earlier so that I can at least fit in, you know, the important things. But there are days that you are going to fall off, and then you just pick up the next day, right? So some of the things that I do is I like to go for a walk or a run, especially now that it's nice out and it's summer, in the morning, because it's so quiet. And I can actually, I love meditation. First of all, that's a huge part of my mindset practice is meditation, especially if it's like not even in the morning, if it's like during the day and I'm starting to get like kind of negative, I'm starting to get down on myself, maybe I'm just not in the right mood or mindset, I will take a quick break to go meditate, just to quiet my mind, because it really does bring me back to that neutral zone. So meditation is great. However, in the morning, I do like to do active meditation. There's so many different types of meditation, you guys. If you have tried one and you're like, I can't do it, I can't just sit there and do nothing. Believe me, that was totally me when I first started too. It's really, really difficult. The first couple times you do it, for sure, it's really hard because you're just not used to it. You're used to being busy. You're used to being active and like, you know, having a checklist, having a to-do list and doing those things. So just sitting there and like really doing nothing and like trying to quiet your mind, it's really difficult. So if you guys have tried it before and you're like, I don't like it, I can't do it, I encourage you to just try it again, because there might be different types of meditation that you like over others. There's a lot of guided meditations that are a little bit easier than just sitting in silence and trying to quiet your mind. That's one of the hardest parts, is like trying not to think about anything. But also, like when that happens, you're supposed to just like let go of your thoughts and let that be okay, instead of getting, you know, down on yourself that you're thinking too much. That's a very common just issue with people who try to meditate. They're like, I just keep thinking. It's like, no, just calm down. Just let it go. It's fine. It's okay that passes through. Like sometimes you do need that because it's telling you something. So anyway, lots and lots of different types of meditations. There's different types of practices that you could get into if you wanted to just explore meditation in general. I encourage you to just Google it to see how many come up. I actually use an app on my phone called Insight Timer. That is great. There's tons of meditations on there. You can actually choose for like what purpose. So it's like if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling happy, if you are wanting to like manifest something or work on your money mindset. There's different topics that you can kind of select, and then you can select the timing. So if you just want to do it for 5 minutes, or if you want to do it for 45 minutes. There's so many great ones, and it's totally free. Of course, there's always like upgrades and stuff within the app, but you can use that. And that's one that I really love, because I like to just sit in silence sometimes, but I like a lot of guided ones, especially for the active ones. So in the morning, like I said, I do an active meditation. So I will run and walk in the morning, usually with the dogs, with my headphones, so that I can listen to a guided meditation. And with that, you know, you're able to like quiet your mind, but you're also like moving. So it feels like you're doing something. So it's not just like you're thinking about not doing anything, which I ran into a lot. So like you're working, but you're also like, you're just freeing your brain to just like listen and just take it all in, even if it is like more of a visualization where you're thinking about maybe it's your goals, maybe it's something that you want to achieve in the future, what you want your life to look like then. I do that a lot. That's really, really great for your goals in general, by the way, as like a side note for your mindset, is to be able to visualize. And I'm going to share that more and more too, because that is definitely something that I do, to be able to visualize what you want it to look like. Even if you don't know how you're going to get there yet, that's a great, great practice to be able to do and think about. So meditation is a big one for me. I definitely do it. I try to do it for sure on a daily basis, at least once a day. Sometimes I've had to do it a couple times a day. And one more thing about meditation too, like I said, like there's so many different ways to do it. So I want you guys to open yourself up to it, because in the morning I'll do those active meditations. If I like run into kind of like a rut in my day where I'm like not feeling great, but I have so much to do, maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'll take like anywhere from like 5 to like 20 minutes and like lay on the bed or lay on the couch and listen to a guided meditation, but basically like quiet my brain to the point where I'm almost like falling asleep. Because and you can set a timer if you do fall asleep. Falling asleep is okay, because especially if it's a quick nap, like I said, anywhere from like 5 to 20 minutes at max, it gets you into that theta state. I'm not going to go into all of the science around it, but it gets you into that theta state where your mind really is quiet and you kind of delve into like the subconscious part of your mind. So your brain is still listening to this meditation. It's still beneficial for you, but at the same time, it is like a reset for your body and for your mind, because you're able to clear it and just kind of wake up completely refreshed. Those I've really enjoyed, especially like I said, if I have like a headache or I'm getting overwhelmed, just to kind of hit that reset button. Like that really does it for me. So I encourage you to like try different types like that. If you do think you're going to sleep longer, like set an alarm or something before, just so you don't like take a full-fledged nap. But it is nice to just kind of get that quick reset to your brain. I really enjoyed that, especially when I'm feeling super overwhelmed. Okay, so enough about the meditation. I could talk about that for forever, I swear. Another one is journaling. Journaling is very common, but a lot of people don't know kind of how to do it. And there's so many different ways you can do it. So there's never a wrong way on like how to journal. Some people just get their thoughts out on paper. Sometimes it's good because you'll be surprised what you write down sometimes, like what actually comes out when you're not really like, just thinking about it word for word, when you're just kind of like letting it flow. So you can do it that way if that helps you kind of like release things from your brain. I know I've talked about this, but I journal a lot on my goals. So I'll like journal on my goals and then I'll go back through and see like what I need to do. That just kind of helps me stay organized and like in a good mindset for where I'm at. And another huge thing with journaling is gratitude journaling. You might hear this all over the place. Typically I've heard like you can either write down 3 things a day if that's something you want to do, that you're grateful for. To touch on that even more, I heard, I forget who it was a podcast I was listening to, but like she wouldn't let herself write the same 3 things over and over. It had to be something new every single day, which I thought was really good, like as an add-on to that. So you can definitely journal on what you're grateful for. Being in that gratitude space really does help your mindset just focus on the here and now, like being mindful of the present. So what you have, like what you currently have, what you're blessed with, what you're grateful for, what the people who you're grateful for, and just like focusing on those positive aspects, because it does like shift your brain from that negativity. Be like, okay, no, I'm fine. Like I do have money in my bank account. I do have a house, a roof over my head. I do have food in the fridge, right? Like even just little things like that. I've heard a lot of people, especially if you're struggling with like body image by any means, you can do this this gratitude journaling or just thinking with stuff on your body. Like I hear so often, like I am, especially like if you have a little bit around the waist or you have like stretch marks or things like that, especially if you have kids, like be grateful that your body has carried your children, or, like that you've run that marathon that you did, it was strong enough to do that, or just that it's able to, like whatever you can think of, whatever you're grateful for, just to transition your mindset from being in like, oh, I hate my body, like I know I need to work out, to like, no, my body has, it's provided for me, it's kept me healthy, it's, like I, one of the things I'll share, is that I've always been kind of self-conscious about my height because I am ridiculously tall. So like when I was growing up, that was a big insecurity because it was hard for me to shop for clothes. It was hard to find a boyfriend like growing up because they were all shorter than me. So like, just if it's anything that you're insecure about, or just don't really like about yourself, like flipping that and being grateful for my height and being grateful for, like you can totally flip your perspective on that. So that gratitude, whether you journal about it or think about it, journaling is good because you can actually write it down, see it, and read it again later. It just helps with the retention and everything with your brain. So mindset, of course, but also that your responsiveness to it, and you're able to retain it and like remember it over and over again, especially if you're going to do it like every day or at least every week or something like that, just so that it creates that new belief in your head. Because when you think about something over and over and over, it does create the beliefs. So you want those to be positive versus negative. So journaling is definitely a good one, especially on gratitude. It could just be something easy like going for a walk. Maybe you enjoy art and you just want to like spend some time painting. I know I do that every once in a while. Just it's kind of like a self-care for me is to go painting. Or paint at home, just take some time for my art. It might be writing. I know a lot of people who write like poetry or just some free flow stuff that helps them get things out of their head too, or just be able to express feelings in a different way. Music is a great one. You can use music in so many different ways, but if you have like a playlist that really like, maybe you have like, play a playlist that you play that really gets you going and like in a good mood, like that could be a great mindset practice to like listen to that, especially before you're gonna like do something, or if you've been triggered by something else, like pop that on to get you in the right mindset. What else? Let's see here. I want to mention this. This can feed into a mindset practice, but like food is a big topic. Again, like if you if like body image or like, you need to work out or things like that, the food that you put into your body can really have, again, I'm not going to go into like scientific stuff, but it can really have an impact on your mindset. Because if you're eating junk food or you're eating, if you like default to emotional eating sometimes and you feel bad about it later, you have that guilt and things like that, like that can be a big drain on your mindset. So if you're putting good foods into your body, initially, that can actually help a positive mindset to not only think about how, you were able to feed your body with good foods and it was healthy and you feel good about that instead of feeling guilty, but also the different types of, minerals and vitamins and everything that healthy foods have over like French fries, as much as we all love French fries and like ice cream. Be honest, me too. Those sugars and everything can bring you down, especially if you have any imbalances or things like that. Like that can be a trigger as well. So I want you guys to be mindful about the food that you guys eat too. That can be a big one. Like I said, even more so on the nutrition side and like getting into that deeper scientific level to it. But like knowing your body and the foods that you eat, how they affect you, that could be a huge one for your mindset. I drink a smoothie every morning, or I try to, unless we run out of stuff. That really helps me because it's just like, it's super tasty. I love smoothies, by the way, but I know it's like packed with like a ton of vitamins and nutrients that I need to feel good throughout the day, but also just as kind of to like kickstart my day in a good way and what I'm putting in my body. So that's something that I do, like I said, try to do every morning. What else? Exercise is always a good one. So like I said, if you get out and walk, especially if it's a nice day and you like the sunshine versus, cloudy days, snowy days always make me a little grumpy. So if it's sunny out, I definitely take advantage of that and go walk. but getting your heart rate up and exercising, again, makes you feel good about your body, makes you feel good about just working out and not having that guilt that you didn't, but also can really spark, a lot of those, what do I want to say? Again, all the science stuff. Just all of the triggers in your brain and the different, I want to say hormones, like different things that happen. Obviously, this is not a scientific thing. My bad on that. But it does help to trigger a lot of positive feelings in your body that can help your mindset as well. So any type of exercise that you guys, especially the ones that you like to do versus the ones that you don't. If you don't like swimming, don't go swimming. Go run instead, or go on the elliptical, or whatever type of exercise that you like. Exercising is a great one for your mindset in various aspects as well. What else? Again, please feel free to share any of your practices that you do, or any of the ones that you're thinking about. I would love to hear just kind of a list of everyone's mindset practices, or again, things that you're thinking about, because it could be something that you're afraid to try, like meditation. It's hard to do some of those at first because you don't know if you're doing it right. That's what we all want to know. Like, am I doing this right? Is it actually working? I don't know. Like, you have to try it and see, like, get into it. Just make sure it's bringing you back to that neutral place and making you feel good, making you think positively, and like from a place that you can see the positive and the negative, and really be open to all perspectives that you need in order to be effective and efficient throughout your day. So I hope that helps. I know that got a little bit long, especially with getting into just all of the, like, how it works and why it's important to have the ones that work for you and how to figure that out, and then the actual practices. So I would love to hear, again, your guys' practices, what you're thinking about, what you've heard, what you want to try. And then I would love to do a check-in with you guys if you want. Like, please feel free to share in the group anything that you're trying and what you're thinking about it. I want you guys to use this group as, not only so that I can post, of course, and like, let you know what's going on, or help share these trainings and things like that with you. But I want you guys to be able to use this to get, you have the support of me, and you have the support of the other women in this group to, throw your ideas out there, to say what worked, what's not working, what you're frustrated with, what you need help with, anything like that. Like, I really want this to be a safe and supportive place for you guys to come, especially as you're working on your goals that you've set, these big goals that you're going after. If it is a business that you are starting or running and you're having issues with that. And then, of course, just like you personally, like with your potential, like stepping into your potential, stepping into the person that you want to become, or that you are, and making that transition. If you're just not happy, like, I just want to hear from you guys, like, for your life, your business, or of course for your goal setting and your mindset. Like, what do you guys need support with? That's what I want you guys to share, and know that you can always come to this group for that stuff. So keep me posted. Let me know what your thoughts are around your mindset practices and what you found works, what doesn't. And if you have any other specific questions, I know mindset was kind of a broad topic, but that's what I wanted to touch on today. So let me know what questions you guys have. And thank you again for joining. If you are watching the replay, I will follow up with you. Just let me know that you've watched it. So thank you guys again. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys soon.